Good day to our research advisor, Professor Noreen Arcangel Perez, to the panelists, Dr. Marily Rosas and Professor Rodolfo Mirabel Jr., to the chairman, Professor Randy Otero. I am Aling Viva Ferreira and I would like to greet you all a pleasant day. We will be presenting our research entitled Face Recognition Attendance System, together with my group mates, Mr. Brits Angeles and Mr. Mark Ivan Toledo. Now, let us proceed to the introduction of the study. So, attendance management of students through conventional methods had been a challenge in the recent years. The researchers came up with this study since the attendance marking during a lecture in a classroom is not only inconvenient, but it is also time consuming, wasting the valuable time that could have been used for other activities that includes actually learning, such as reviews and takeaways. Now, when it comes to the current situation of our classes, the system is meant to be implemented during physical classes, making the system irrelevant to the current situation that the educational system is currently facing. Moreover, the idea of making the system was formulated even before the pandemic, further pushing the reason for the researchers to continue with the program despite the fact that the system cannot be used for the current phase of education. But as everyone is hoping, everything would go back to normal someday and this system could become a big help for the physical classes. Now, with the help of this study, it is expected to lessen the time needed to check the attendance within a class because the system with the use of face recognition proposes a system that is based on face detection and recognition algorithms, which is used to automatically detect the student's face when he or she enters the class and allows them to mark themselves present in the attendance sheet using the system without waiting for the teacher to initiate the attendance taking. This allows for a much efficient way in taking attendance and introduce a more modern way for it, giving the teachers more time to use for actually learning activities. Now let's move on to the statement of the problem. Traditionally, students' attendances are taken manually by using attendance sheets given by the faculty members in class, which consumes a lot of time. Now, this research aims to give the teachers the convenience of getting the students' attendance in a class and also being time efficient because taking attendance will no longer be by roll calling of the student's name or writing on sheets of paper and instead through a systematic, faster, and efficient way of attendance taking. Given the statements mentioned, these are the problems that the researchers aims to answer. Now, the first one is how to develop a system that will recognize the face of each student and to store it in a spreadsheet, Excel or CSV file, for their attendance. The next one is how to develop a system that would allow the teachers to have a faster, easier, and more efficient way of taking the students' attendance. And the next is how to design a system that could register students' faces and allow facial recognition to recognize them and automatically take their attendance. Next is how to develop a system that could potentially be of use to every classroom in the future with further work and development. And the last is how to provide a system that generates reports such as attendance per subject and notification to the teachers if the student is always late. The created problems are used in order to come up with a system that could provide all the answers that would suffice the needs of the objective, such as face recognition attendance, generation of reports, attendance, lates, and etc., and the easy access of the attendance data for the teacher. Now let's move on to the scope and limitations of the study to be presented by Mr. Brits Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera, for discussing the statement of the problem of our research. Once again, I am Brits Angeles, and I will be the one to present the scope and limitation of our research. Face Recognition Module based on Python Face Recognition Library. This module allows for the recognition and manipulation of faces from Python or the command line using a simple face recognition library. The system can be able to automatically input the data into the spreadsheet. There is no need for the teacher to manually take the attendance within the class because the system will record and automatically input the data into the spreadsheet. Display the current attendance sheet for current class. The system can show the attendance sheet for the current class. This information can only access or seen by the teacher. The teacher can manipulate the records as they are authorized. The system will able to add, update, and search function to find the specific record of the student in much easier way. The records of the student can be downloaded from the system. The records of the student are confidential. The records must be secured all the time. So the authorized person will be able to download the records from the system for security purposes. Limitation can only be used per classroom individually. For now, the system is focused only on checking the attendance for individual classroom without any interconnection with one another. We will not currently include online support for online classes. The focus of the study is limited only to the usage of face recognition during physical classes since the idea of making this study was even made before the pandemic affected the current school system. With this limitation, possibility of the further development of the study in its highest, allowing for a wider research capability for future developers that pursued a related topic to this study. Face recognition varies to the subject's pose. Face recognition are highly sensitive to the pose variations. The movements of the head or differing point of view of the camera can invariably cause problems in face recognition. This can be solved by the subject really showing their face within the camera's point of view. And now for architectural framework, let's go to Mr. Mark Ivan Toledo.
Thank you, Mr. Brits Angeles, for your wonderful discussion about the scope and limitation of our study. Once again, I am Mark Ivan E. Toledo and I will discuss the architectural framework of the system we have developed and will walk through the system for visual representation. On that note, the architectural framework is the part of research where the researcher will explain and discuss the relationship of each variable in the process of developing the system. We have also provided reviews of related literature which help us understand more deeper into the topic of the research, where other researchers explored various topics in this field of research. Now I will present the work of us, the researchers. Now this is the figure 1, where I will explain the flow of the system. Once the student enters the class, they would already be able to mark their attendance. As shown in figure 1, using the face recognition system, the student would just have to face the camera and check in using the machine. The image would then be recognized by the system, marking them present for that class together with their basic information such as student ID, name, date, time, and etc. Doing this would then mark them as present in the teacher's attendance spreadsheet automatically. This could be done in an orderly fashion while entering the classroom, taking the attendance of the students even without the teacher initiating it, therefore reducing the precious lesson time wasted that was initially used during the traditional attendance taking method. Next is the figure 2, where I will explain the flow of the system on the teacher's part. The accessibility of the teachers to the proposed system is as shown in figure 2. They are the ones who are allowed access to the system, making them the only ones who are able to see the attendance that is currently within the system. The system would have a login and account creation page wherein the teachers are allowed to create their accounts using their own username and password, adding to the security of the system. Within the teacher's page, the attendance of the current class can be seen inputted in a CSV spreadsheet. This CSV spreadsheet can either be downloaded or sent directly to the teacher via email. The teacher could also manipulate the spreadsheet by using the search function of the system, allowing for a much easier detection of the students that have currently attended that particular day of class. Now we're going to proceed to the demonstration of the program. Now you can see the splash screen. Now this is the main window, and there is two buttons named student and teacher. First we'll go to the teacher. In this screen you can see a login screen where we put our username and password, but first we need to create an account. This is only an example of account. Now we'll click sign up. When we click sign up, we will be redirected to the main page. Now that we're in main page, we will sign in. Now we will click login. Now we are in CSV window where we will open the CSV file named attendance. To see the data, we will click the column, then click describe. Now as you can see, there is the data of the attendance. This is only the initial data that we have gathered. After that, we will go to the main window and then proceed to the student. Now as you can see, there is a big area in the left where the captured video will show later while it's loading. And the right side is the data where we will gather information: name, status, subject name, and subject time. Now as you can see, the video is capturing my face and it is recognizing me because my name is recorded in the data. If I click the clocking button, there will be a pop-up message for confirmation. Now my data will automatically input in the CSV file for the teacher to see. You can see the system is only about at its 50% progress and is due for further development. Of course, the developers will give its best for them to reach 100% without lowering its quality. Thank you for listening on our virtual presentation entitled Face Recognition Attendance System. The room is now open for suggestions and recommendations. That would be all. Thank you and have a nice day.